They say music is the language of the soul. But in Ravenshollow, that language was twisted into something unspeakable. The first time I heard the story, I was a boy, sitting near the fireplace of my grandmother's inn. A traveler, pale and trembling, told us about a manor deep in the woods, a place where a piano still played at midnight, though the lady who owned it had been dead for 50 years. He said the sound wasn't like music at all. It was grief made sound, each note dripping with something alive. And if you listened too long, you'd start to hear a second sound beneath it, the soft, choking sobs of someone trapped behind the keys. The woman's name was Elara Voss, a pianist of rare talent. She once performed for nobles in London before retreating to Ravenshollow after her fiancé vanished on the eve of their wedding. Some said grief drove her mad. Others whispered that she had bargained with forces beyond. All agreed on one thing: the night she played her final piece, the sky itself wept blood. No one dared enter her manor after that. The villagers claimed that from the woods, they could see candlelight flickering through the windows and hear her music rising and falling like a dying breath. Sometimes, they said the melody would stop suddenly, followed by a scream that didn't sound human. Years passed, and the legend of Elara became just that, a story to frighten children. But when I was 20, I saw something that made me believe every word of it. I had gone hunting near the old woods, when a fog rolled in so thick I could barely see my own hands. And then, I heard it, a single note, faint, distant, carried on the wind. It grew clearer with each step, until the melody filled the air, slow and sorrowful. It wasn't coming from any living hand. I knew that at once. And when I turned toward the sound, I saw the faint glow of candles in the distance. The closer I got, the colder the air became. The trees stood like black pillars, and the fog clung to the ground as though it were alive. Then, through the mist, the manor appeared, vast, silent, and broken by time. Its windows were blind, its roof sagged, and yet from within came that perfect, mournful song. The gate was half open, rusted in place. I should have turned back then. Every instinct screamed for me to run. But the music, it pulled me forward, as if unseen hands were guiding me toward the door. Inside, the manor smelled of dust and decay. Portraits lined the hallway, their painted eyes following me wherever I moved. The sound of the piano echoed faintly, coming from the grand hall beyond the stairs. Each note vibrated through the walls like a heartbeat, steady and cold. As I approached the doors, they creaked open by themselves. The room was lit only by the moon filtering through shattered glass. And there, in the center, stood the piano, elegant but covered in a layer of gray dust. Its keys moved on their own. The melody was beautiful, haunting, like something between a lullaby and a funeral dirge. I stood frozen, watching the keys press down, one after another, forming a song that seemed to weep. Then I saw it, a faint shimmer hovering above the piano bench. A figure translucent in the shape of a woman, her hands gliding over the air where the keys moved. Her head turned slowly toward me. Though her face was pale and broken by shadow, I could still see her eyes, empty, yet filled with unbearable sorrow. And then she whispered a single word that froze my blood. "Stay." The air turned heavy, pressing down on my chest. I tried to speak, but my voice refused to come. The piano continued its song, faster now, its rhythm pulsing like a heartbeat gone mad. The figure of Elara Voss, for I knew it was her, stepped closer, her form flickering like candlelight. Behind her, I noticed something carved into the piano's lid. Names, dozens of them, etched deep into the wood, each one crossed out except the last. The final name was half-finished, as though the carver had been interrupted, and the letters looked eerily familiar. The half-carved name was mine. I stumbled backward, knocking over a chair, the noise breaking the music for just a second. Elara's head snapped toward the sound, her eyes wide, her mouth opening in a silent scream. The candles flared to life, though I had seen none before, filling the room with a crimson light. The walls began to shake. The portraits along the hall fell one by one, their frames splintering. And through it all, the piano played louder, wilder, alive. I turned to run, but the doors slammed shut before I reached them. A whisper filled the room. Dozens of voices layered atop one another, all crying the same thing. Play with her. The piano bench scraped against the floor, moving toward me on its own. Elara stood behind it now, waiting, her translucent fingers trembling above the keys. I shook my head. "No," I managed to whisper. She smiled, a small, broken smile, and suddenly, my legs gave way. Something unseen pulled me to the bench, forcing my hands toward the keys. The piano's surface felt warm, like skin. When my fingers touched the keys, a surge of pain shot through me. Not physical, but deeper. Memories that weren't mine flooded my mind. A wedding veil, a man's laughter, betrayal, blood. I felt her anguish, her madness, her endless longing. And beneath it all, something darker, something ancient. Elara's voice filled my head. "Finish it!" The melody returned, twisting and writhing as my hands began to play. Each note I struck felt like a heartbeat stolen from my own chest. And when I looked down, my name was no longer half-carved. It was complete. The sound became unbearable. Each note echoed inside my skull like a scream trapped in bone. The room darkened. The candles turned blue. I could see figures forming in the shadows, pale outlines of faces, twisted in agony, whispering through the air like smoke. Elara stood beside me, her expression blank. Then, she placed her ghostly hand over mine. Cold shot through my arm, freezing every muscle in place. Her voice, soft and broken, whispered again, "You belong here now." I tried to pull away, but my hands refused to move. The music continued, not mine, not hers, but something else, something older. The faces in the shadows began to drift closer, their whispers turning into soft sobs. I realized, with a chill, that they were the other names carved into the piano. Their eyes pleaded for release. Elara looked at them too, and for a moment, sadness flickered in her gaze. Then, she turned back to me and smiled, the same smile I'd seen on her portraits, painted before her death. A sudden crash echoed from above. The ceiling groaned, dust raining down. The song faltered, and Elara's image flickered violently. For a brief instant, I saw her true face, hollow, cracked, crawling with shadow. Her mouth opened in rage, and the piano screamed. I was thrown backward by a force I couldn't see. The bench splintered, the candles went out. The last sound I heard before everything went dark was her voice, pleading, not angry now, "Don't leave me alone again." When I awoke, the sun was bleeding through broken windows. The manor was silent, the piano untouched. I stumbled to my feet, dizzy, my mind fogged like the air outside. Had it been a dream, or something far worse? I looked at the piano. Its keys were still, yet the lid was open again. Carved there, at the bottom of the list of names, was mine. Not fresh, not new, but aged, weathered, as though it had always been there. I ran. Through the halls, through the fog, through the gates that groaned as I passed. The village seemed brighter when I reached it, though my chest still ached with that melody. I swore never to return, never to speak of what I saw. But silence has a way of rotting. At night, even in my own home, I hear faint music through the walls. Sometimes it's just one note, lingering like a breath. Sometimes, it's the entire song. Years have passed since that night. The manor still stands, though no one goes near it. The forest has swallowed most of the path, and the villagers pretend the music isn't real. But I know better, because last week, a traveler came through town. Pale, trembling, eyes wide with fear. He said he'd heard a piano deep in the woods, playing through the mist. And when he ran toward the sound, he swore he saw a woman waiting by the door, smiling. He asked me if I knew anything about it. I lied. I told him no such place existed anymore. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The melody played again, louder than ever, felt closer, as if the manor itself had moved toward me. And then I saw it, in the reflection of my window behind me. A faint shape, a woman in a tattered gown, her hands hovering in the air, waiting. The same eyes, the same sorrow. I turned, but she was gone. Only silence remained, and the faint smell of old wood and roses. On my desk, where there had been nothing before, lay a single piano key, yellowed with age, and carved into it, my initials. I don't know how it got there. I don't know why the melody follows me still. But every night, it grows louder, clearer, and I can almost hear her whispering, "Finish it." Last night, the piano key began to play by itself. A single note, over and over, echoing through my room until dawn. I smashed it with a hammer, but the sound didn't stop. It came from inside my head. I think she's calling me back. I dream of the manor every night now. The broken windows, the flickering candles, the endless song. And always, the same seat waiting before the piano. Empty, waiting for me. I can't fight it anymore. Tomorrow I'll return to Ravenshollow. Maybe if I finish the song, she'll let me go. Or maybe that's what she wants. If anyone finds this journal, don't follow me. Don't go near that place. Because once you hear the melody of Holloway's curse, you'll never hear silence again. The road to Ravenshollow was overgrown and forgotten. Trees arched overhead like twisted ribs, shutting out the sky. As I walked, the fog thickened until I could barely see my own hands. Yet, through the suffocating mist, I could hear it again, that melody. It drifted through the woods like a memory, faint but unmistakable, guiding my steps. The closer I got, the more the air seemed to hum with unseen energy. Every breath felt colder, every sound sharper, as if the forest itself was alive and listening. At one point, I thought I saw a shadow moving beside me, not walking, but gliding, keeping pace silently. When I turned to look, there was nothing but the echo of footsteps that were not my own. When I finally saw the manor through the mist, my heart nearly stopped. It looked smaller than I remembered, almost hunched under its own weight, but the windows still stared like hollow eyes. The front door hung open, waiting. As I stepped inside, the air changed, thick, cold, electric. Everything was exactly as I'd left it. The broken candles, the scattered sheets of music, the old piano at the center of the room. But there was something new carved into the wood this time. A phrase, 6 words, written in deep, uneven scratches. "Play the song and set me free." I sat before the piano, trembling. The keys were cracked, yellow, but they seemed to vibrate faintly, as if waiting for my touch. When my fingers pressed the first note, the sound was clear, too clear, like something alive resonating beneath the wood. The melody flowed effortlessly, guiding my hands on its own, and with each chord, the room seemed to breathe. The portraits on the wall began to fade. The air shimmered, and shapes emerged, the same lost souls whose names I had seen carved before. They surrounded me, silent, their hollow eyes fixed on the piano, and in the midst of them she appeared. Elara. She looked more real than ever. Not ghostly, not pale, but human. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed with something almost gentle. For the first time, she smiled without sorrow. But when she spoke, her voice carried a weight that pressed against my chest. "You came back," she said softly. "You heard me." I nodded, unable to speak. "The song must end," she whispered. "Only then can the curse die." And before I could respond, her hand covered mine again. Not cold this time, but warm. The music swelled, filling every corner of the hall. Notes I had never learned flowed through me as if I'd always known them. Outside, thunder cracked. The world itself seemed to shudder. The souls around me lifted their heads, their faces peaceful now, dissolving into the air like mist at dawn. Elara's form began to fade as well. Her smile trembled. "Thank you," she whispered. But just before she vanished, her expression changed. Her eyes widened in horror. She looked at the piano, then back at me and screamed, "No, it's not done." Before I could react, the piano screamed. Not a sound, a scream. The wood cracked open, and from inside poured a black mist thick as tar. It swirled around me, whispering words I couldn't understand, wrapping me like a shroud. Elara's voice was gone. In her place, something else spoke. Deeper, older, full of hunger. "You played the wrong song," it hissed. "Her freedom is your cage." And then, the darkness surged forward and swallowed everything. When I awoke, I was sitting at the piano again. The candles were lit, the hall silent. But the walls, they were different. Newer, cleaner. The manor wasn't in ruins anymore. I looked around in confusion. Footsteps echoed from the doorway. A young woman entered, wide-eyed, holding a small notebook. She smiled nervously. "Hi, I'm here to research the legend of Elara Holloway." She didn't see me at first. She walked straight past, touching the piano gently, tracing the carvings on its surface. Then her eyes fell on the newest one, the name carved freshly into the wood. She whispered it aloud. It was mine, and as she said it, the piano gave a soft, familiar hum. The candles flickered, and I realized, with a cold dread, that I wasn't breathing anymore. She froze. The air grew colder, and her breath came out in mist. Slowly, she turned her head toward me, and her eyes widened. I tried to speak, to warn her, but no sound came out. Instead, the piano began to play by itself once more. The same melody. Her notebook fell to the ground as she stared in horror. And through the rising fog, I saw Elara standing behind her, smiling. Now I understand. The song never ends, it only changes its player. Elara was freed, but her place had to be taken. And I foolishly sat down to play. If you ever find the manor of Ravenshollow, and hear the faint echo of a piano through the mist, don't follow it. Don't listen, because every melody has a price, and this one never stops collecting.